So back in the day, I represented an insurance company. The case wasn't terribly complicated. They often aren't. A guy was driving his truck, lost control, hit a hydro pole. And Toronto Hydro was suing to get the replacement value of the hydro pole. They're pretty expensive. The poles themselves and the day of the crew or 2 days of effort to put it up, to make the disconnections and the reconnections, it's a lot of money. So they're suing to get repaid. And my client was the insurance company for that driver. Pretty simple case from a plaintiff's perspective, that is from the perspective of the hydro company. They say, here are the sheets for the work crews. This is how many people it took. This is the rate that we bill them out at. This is the hydro pole. This is how much it cost us to buy. Here's the invoice. Here's proof of payment. Here's the police report. There's no doubt about how the accident happened, who's responsible. You, insurance company, have admitted that he is your insured. Here's the math. Add it up. Judge turns to me and says, okay, Mr. Chapnik, any questions? Yes, Your Honor, I have one question. Well, two, actually. What's the life expectancy of a hydro pole, and how old was this one? If they've got an old hydro pole and they're getting a new one, that's what we in insurance call a betterment. They're further ahead, having had their hydro pole knocked down. Surely my insurance company client shouldn't put them further ahead than where they were before the accident. I guess that's a lesson to plaintiffs everywhere. You got to prove all of your case, even if you're an insurance company. And they just didn't have the evidence. The judge said, well, they failed to prove their case. Dismissed. Done. One with two questions. That was it. And again, this is about detail. Looking, in this case, looking for the gaps. What didn't they prove? They had to prove a whole bunch of things. They proved most of them, but they missed one tiny little area, and as a result, they walked out of court empty-handed. I take that as a lesson as a plaintiff's lawyer. You have to prove everything. There cannot be any gaps. Nobody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You're a plaintiff. You have to prove your case. All those documents have to be presented. All the witnesses have to come to court. Everything has to be in front of the judge or the jury, because if it isn't, you're going to lose. If not an issue, then maybe the entire case, as that insurance company did that time. Putting on a plaintiff's case is very different than defending one. And a lot of lawyers who do insurance defense work simply don't have the experience presenting a plaintiff's case. And when they've done one occasionally, they usually come away with new respect for what it is a plaintiff's lawyer has to do. When they're doing defense, mostly they're just taking shots at the plaintiff's case. They don't have to prove anything themselves more often than not. There are a few positive defenses, things that a defendant would have to prove in order to be successful. But mostly, all they have to do is challenge the plaintiff. So when the hats are reversed and they have to put on a plaintiff's case, it's a different mindset, it's a different approach, and it can be a bit of a challenge. Don't take this the wrong way. There are a lot of very good lawyers representing insurance companies, and I have no complaint about that. It makes me perform at my best. You don't know who the insurance company lawyer is going to be on the other side at the beginning of the case, and you definitely don't know who it's going to be at the end if it comes to a trial. Because the insurance company might be very frugal and send a less experienced, less expensive lawyer to do a lot of the grunt labor of litigation. And they'll carry it along all the way through to, but not at trial. And at trial, they'll hand it off to a more experienced, more expensive lawyer. And you can expect a very good job to be done, which means when we're doing our job, we have to assume that we are going to face the best defense lawyers in the province. There are no shortcuts. You have to do all the work, all the way through, assuming that your best opponents are going to be the ones you face.